to the second of many video forecasts to come from Helios, your ever-evolving portal to health, expanded living, and integrative oracle science. I'm Benjamin Newman, and it is an honor to be here offering this now. This video includes November's foundational theme, horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs, and a detailed tarot reading applying directly to anyone who watches it. November's foundational theme is one that will carry on well beyond this month. Physical immunity, which of course refers primarily to our biological immune system. There is a need in our world today to pay close attention to our own physiological defenses, applying reinforcements where they are needed. You might be interested in pausing this video at this time to ready a pen and paper, as I will now list various sources of immune support relevant to our current position in time. I encourage you to study the properties of each of the following ingredients for yourselves and seek professional counsel regarding dosage and any other concerns you might have. So long as your unique dietary needs allow, consider implementing some or all of the following ingredients into your daily meals: echinacea, black elderberry, cat's claw, licorice root, garlic, ginger, basil, oregano, particularly oregano oil, tea tree oil. Apply directly under the nose and around the mouth for airborne viral protection. Peppermint, astragalus, cinnamon. You can make a gargle from comfrey and myrrh. Calendula, eucalyptus, lemon balm, golden seal, red clover, sage, and yarrow. doTERRA is a wonderful source for clean and pure essential oils. I am not a medical doctor, and I highly advise seeking professional advice. However, we are living at a time in which self-education and personal investigation might have far more value than a vast majority of the body of information that's passed down to us through doctors from the salespeople representing major pharmaceutical companies, which are primarily motivated by profit, which in itself is dependent on poor public health. Admittedly, the wisdom of Western medicine plays a vital role that shall persist well into the future, as many lives have been and will continue to be saved and sustained by these means. However, holistic medicine, including Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, along with basic nutritional wisdom, are timeless, spanning from our most ancient history and undoubtedly to the furthest reaches of our future as an evolving species, serving as a nurturing support system for the full spectrum of our being. Additionally, consider making and taking daily adaptogen teas. As easy to make as the act of tossing some herbs in water just below the boiling point, waiting for a few minutes before straining and drinking between meals. Also, consider fermenting your own living probiotic kombucha tea with these simple and easy steps. Use a wide-mouth gallon or multi-gallon container, preferably glass. Make a batch of tea with 5 caffeinated tea bags for every gallon of kombucha you intend to make. Add 1 to 1.5 cups of sugar for every gallon, then simply buy a plain kombucha from the store and add its contents, or about half a bottle for every gallon, once the tea cools down to about body temperature. Then simply cover the top of the batch with a piece of fabric and snap a rubber band around it. Wait and watch as the mushroom-like symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast grows atop your tea within weeks. Taste test as you wish, and harvest when the flavor is light and tangy. You can then use your new mushroom friend to create many more batches of this incredibly healthy beverage. An additional tip, cap your kombucha in airtight jugs and let them sit unrefrigerated for a couple of days to enhance the effervescence, resulting in a lovely bubbly elixir to serve as a fantastic substitute for champagne as you celebrate your life. Another bonus tip, consider making your kombucha with an herbal base. So long as the culture has plenty of caffeine and sugar to feed on, it should remain quite resilient to many non-volatile ingredients. So feel free to be experimental. Okay, moving right along. Astrology. Here are brief horoscopes for all 12 zodiac signs. Most of us know our sun signs, but if you happen to know your rising sign, I encourage you to keep an open ear out for that horoscope as well. Of course, we are all influenced by each of these bodies of energy, as we are all living amidst the same cosmic clock gears, so there are certainly benefits to absorbing all of what follows.
And suddenly a dramatic increase in voice audio quality, an inconsistency that will be sorted out by December. Okay, Aries, activate yourself as October's weight is lifted. Catch the wave of ease in the first half of the month, and go to work for the long haul. Mars and Saturn move in your favor. Venus pulls your heartstrings, but emphasize empathy to transcend resistance. Taurus, Anticipate joyous conclusions, but refrain from building new foundations. Avoid lengthy discussions so as to prevent unwanted unspoken agreements. Gemini, carefully manage whatever wealth you currently possess, scrutinizing the potentials you find between the two full moons. Look through the eyes of another to make peace from tension. Cancer, time and power move to your side, enhancing your life force. Expect a surprise success, but do not prepare every pursuit in anticipation of it. Recognize ambiguity where it is and do what you love regardless. Leo, the sun brings its blessing, changing the faces of many that once worked against you. Uranus and Pluto are persuaded into service, providing a good deal of luck. Give from your heart to your own mind, body, and soul. Virgo, Mercury brings great assistance after its lengthy tantrum, but as Venus and Neptune chime in, disharmony brings light to sources of stagnation. Work only for yourself to transmute the schism. Libra, recognize your numerous allies in all planes. Your joints and gears have been well lubricated. Ride the lucky streak through your endeavors. Expect to finish early, but remember to respect those who work their magic beyond easy street. Scorpio, off to a good start, you're inclined to anticipate a strong finish, but cosmic aid falls away by the end of the month. Carry the wisdom of your past with you to maintain velocity. Victory over self carries a strong overtone. Sagittarius, bask in the light of those who are loyal to you and your cause. You will have more than 2 steady hands at your disposal, but dispose of none. Don't push for an early finish when you're meant to be on time. Respect the uncharted ground in the soul of another. Capricorn, confidence in yourself and your world rise to new levels, giving you accelerated manifestation abilities. Karma tests you as you summon the will to engage the dynamic of this power period. Don't forget to say, I love you. Aquarius, have no fear for mistakes revisited. Trust in your self-initiated immunity. Focus with consistency and avoid new large-scale projects. Increase caution around the new moon. Pisces, with additional challenges in the realm of communication, anticipate unforeseen complications, but remember to fall back on the sense of certainty born from the joy of simply doing what you love. Take advantage of the time that is freed up as you disengage and surrender.
Alright, thank you for listening. Now let's dive right into what is undoubtedly for this particular video the grand finale, the golden heart of November's Helios forecast. Okay. Vantage point, path option 1, path option 2, the wisdom of our past, and a glimpse into our fate. Okay, first card, central theme, the Ten of Cups. Within this window of time, we are beckoned to count our blessings, taking nothing for granted. This card embodies the final wave in a long chain of glimpses into the evolving nature of manifested love, in which we allow ourselves to simply bask in the light of what we have learned, digging not into the past, becoming stagnant, but into the soil beneath us in this moment, willfully initiating presence, growth, and rejuvenation. If you have not yet learned from the tests that have been offered regarding love as it manifests in your life, or if you have skipped a lesson, this is the point in which you will have to take a few steps back and try again. If you find it difficult to refrain from delving into your past, you can take it as a sign that you have missed something, and can expect to revisit old lessons before fully experiencing the presence, the gratitude, and the sense of completion inherent in this kind of unfolding. The best aspects of this card are encouraged by evolving your capacity for present moment awareness, perhaps through meditation, yoga, breathwork, integrative work, and so on. By strengthening your immune system, perhaps by the means I have already mentioned, and by celebrating your life among authentic, accountable, and supportive people who genuinely love you for who you are. Throughout the unfolding of this card, we can approach our experiences through 2 basic paths, decided only by our chosen use of free will. Path 1, the Ten of Wands. Not unlike the Ten of Cups, this card marks the conclusion of a chain of lessons, but to a very different result. This card arises to remind us of the consequences of using fire as our primary means of communication, as it is at its basest level a force of destruction. If we live without concern for the consequences of our actions and expressions, feeding our every desire, dominating each moment, each messenger, each conversation, overruling the influence of others, filling every silent space with noise and every blank page with color, we will find ourselves utterly exhausted, burnt out, overtaken by the externalized inner tyrant we never knew we had, regardless of how positive we believe our impact to be. Ultimately, this can manifest as a global prison in which we are all burdened daily by the unrealistic expectations of a tyrannical international order. We are clearly reminded by the appearance of this card that we are standing before a mere potential outcome with very disconcerting implications, and that we must carefully manage our energy. The Ten of Wands is a hard lesson in responsibility. However, if we actively take responsibility now, holding only our individual selves accountable for the state of our world, we will not require the rise of an external reflection. If the world becomes increasingly hostile, if governments become increasingly tyrannical, if the world becomes closer to that of George Orwell's book 1984, or if we see similar developments within our personal relationships, we must use this as an opportunity to take a look inside and honestly examine our own personal sense of responsibility. If an authentic shift then occurs in favor of expanded integrity and personal accountability, we can rest assured the state of the world will shift with us. So what might it shift to? Path option 2, strength, or in some translations, lust. This card refers to the rise of a transcendent power, in a tempered powerhouse, and responsibly channeled emotions taming the beast within. It is no meaningless coincidence that this card embodies a very appropriate alternative to the Ten of Wands, to act with finesse and caution, managing our addictions, integrating our unresolved issues. We must conquer our fears and act from a centered and present place, shifting from toxic patterns to enlightening daily reminders of our inherent immortal reality. Ultimately, this path leads to a grand triumph over our lowest impulses and petty desires. I highly recommend taking this path. However, walking upon it will take consistent effort and a level of accountability most are simply not used to. Okay, back to center. As we look into our past, we can see a powerful source of nostalgia in the Six of Cups. This is, of course, the fuel for our current central theme in which we count our blessings. This is the card of fond memories, and reminds us to draw inspiration from where we have been, what we have seen, and the challenges we have overcome. Additionally, it reminds us not to dwell on our personal story, but to simply source a portion of our fuel there, as if the wisdom we have accumulated from our happiest memories and our most challenging ones were all the incentive we needed to be fully present now. Once we authentically move into presence, we will find a far greater source of power, and the consciousness behind our future choices will be greatly expanded, thus resulting in the increase of personal responsibility we require to shift the state of the world from one of inefficiency and tyranny to one of peace and prosperity. I encourage you to delve into the subject of a holographic fractal multiverse and the notion of individuals projecting entire universes as constantly evolving personalized dimensional timelines parallel to those of all others, as well as basic quantum mechanics for more information on how this global shift occurs. There is a great wealth of information on this subject out there and in there. Okay, from the present moment in which we are reminded to count our blessings, we can gaze into our fate, the universe. This is the final gateway. As illuminated by the previous cards, this reading carries cosmic implications, as confirmed by this card, which embodies the ultimate end result, life and death itself, and the fate of the entire world. The state of the world today and the fate of the world tomorrow is entirely up to you. It is entirely in your hands. And I don't mean you as in all of you, I mean you specifically. The individual who is watching this video now, just you. You are creating all of this, and all of us are merely reflections, holographic representatives of you existing in parallel dimensions, creating entirely different, though often similar worlds, each with its own story and outcome. You need not be concerned with rallying the masses and unifying them for the highest cause, as that will automatically occur as you make the required internal shifts. Again, the idea here is to move away from addictions, away from toxic patterns and petty desires and impulses, away from selfishness, and towards accountability, authenticity, responsibility, presence, honesty, and empowered action. The mirroring result will be a world moving away from tyranny, away from sickness and corruption and ruin, and towards unity, peace, justice, and prosperity, in which we might expect to see infinite energy technologies, environmental regeneration, epic leaps in average life expectancy, political integrity, you name it. We can expect the same transformation from our personal relationships and daily events. November will be a time in which the shape of our global reflection will reveal itself. There is nothing inherently fearful, and there is no harm in studying up on international affairs. Investigating intentions of our own governments and honestly questioning their motives is a big part of this. it might be very wise for us to ask, do the actions and choices of our home nation's governments reflect what we intend to create for ourselves and our families? How might they mirror aspects of our inner world? What internal shifts can we make? What decisive action can we take? And remember, we are the source of the world we see. To see change, we must be change. And this philosophy can be taken as literally as it can be. And strengthen that immune system. Alright, this message has been a pleasure to deliver. Contact me for a personal session in which I provide insight into the mechanics of your life and your world, using a combination of astrology, tarot, and a method called human design, which draws from the I Ching, astrology, the Kabbalistic tree of life, and the Indian chakra system to literally map out your unique personal wiring, allowing me to offer very specific, individualized strategies designed to optimize the circuitry of your entire being. Sessions typically last 1 to 2 hours and are priced within a sliding scale between $75 and $100, depending on what exchange feels best for you. Contact me at facebook.com/heliosascending or send an email to manyfacesofhelios@gmail.com to inquire about anything at all. Check back next month for an entirely new Helios forecast. And who knows, you might find that I am broadcasting from an entirely different world from the one you're seeing here. Thank you for watching.